kidnapped Maduro in Venezuela and his wife, and the Venezuelans are cheering this. Was there election fraud when this guy won last time? But we won't even get to that yet. Let's talk about the obvious one, which is oil and energy. Right? Because it's not just 17 or 24 trillion dollars of oil.
When we make moves like this across the world, we call ourselves patriots. But there's a lot of people in these other countries, they call us the terrorists.
What does ChatGPT say about this? Venezuela sits on the largest proven oil reserves in the world, making any geopolitical move there automatically about long-term energy leverage. Oil controls inflation, military readiness, and global pricing power. Regime pressure can reset sanctions, debt, and ownership structures that benefit early positioned players.
If that land had none of that, would we have any interest in it?
Podcast twins, we are back in the Twin Cave, starting up a new year with the Carnivore Challenge.
2026, we are here live and in function, man. I'm going to tell you, a few days in already, I'm feeling absolutely phenomenal on the challenge, man. I'm just hoping that everybody out there has got a great start. And if you didn't, start today. And that's why we're here. So if you haven't reached out to us, we'll make sure we get you on the WhatsApp group. So therefore you can have all the references of things that we're going through and things that we learn, and we can help you navigate.
And not everybody has to chat if they don't want to. There's people on there just listening and watching and learning.
Right.
Like Ed Colo called me this morning on my way in. He said, I've done 4 perfect days so far, and today's day 5, so he's on track.
There it is. And that's all we ask. It's just, can you do anything in the world for 30 days? But while you're doing all of that, I want you to make sure that you click that subscribe button, because we want to, again, thank you for all the support we got in 2025. It was a phenomenal year. We did break our initial goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we're well on our way to 1,500. So we want to thank you guys for that. But make sure you continue to subscribe, because I had 2 very good friends of mine, very close friends, who just recently realized that they hadn't subscribed.
Click the subscribe.
They were like, man, I've been following everything. I've been commenting, but they did not subscribe. So, hey, take a few moments, click the subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and all of the other platforms. TikTok is growing. So, hey, we're just very happy and grateful, man. But today
we're going to talk about Venezuela. But before we talk about Venezuela, because we know we're going to get some shade no matter what we say on that topic from somebody, we're going to talk about the fact that I've worked out 4 days in a row.
Holy crap.
I met your challenge. In addition to just eating meat, I did have a little bit of cheese here and there, but in addition to just eating meat, and I'll tell you what, man, I feel good. I'm sore, but I feel good.
Hey, that's what we're going to do today, is just continue to celebrate those that have been, because we've been chatting it up, and again, we try to leave something in the WhatsApp group for somebody to grow on differently, whether you're using the grill, cast iron skillet, or whatever. But what I'm happy to see is that people are enjoying cooking their own food and using real food ingredients. That's it.
But
that was
you like stuff that is boiling hot.
I do.
And there's nothing hotter than the headline of kidnapped Maduro in Venezuela and his wife, and now they're in New York, doing whatever they're doing. And, Venezuelans seem very happy about this, first of all. Let's say that. Like, the Venezuelans that I've spoken to, we live in South Florida. We got them. We got Weston down the street from me that's called Westonzuela.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of Venezuelan population there.
Not just there.
And the Venezuelans are cheering this.
Yes.
So let's point that out first, before we even get into what's really going on, which we have 30% of the truth, maybe.
Right.
As usual.
At most.
As usual. So,
but I want to show a quick parallel just to that point that you made. The Cubans that's been living here in South Florida had the very same reaction when Fidel died or went out of power. So it's something to say about the country people who have left. We don't really know what's happening to those that are there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I found that very same parallel because the guys was talking about it yesterday, and they're a lot more versed on that than I am.
And there's a lot of weird and interesting things going on. Like, was there election fraud when this guy won last time? Probably. Did they build the machines for that election fraud in Venezuela? Probably.
Right.
Do we have those machines in the U.S.? Allegedly, yes. Interesting. But we won't even get to that yet, right?
No?
That's too much.
All right.
For a lot of people, that's too much.
Okay.
Let's talk about the obvious one, which is oil and energy.
Oh,
right?
There's So you're saying there's something else to talk about other than oil?
I'm just saying there's other things to talk about other than oil. Yes. Because it's not just 17 or 24 trillion dollars of oil, which, by the way, if we're getting 24 trillion dollars of oil that we confiscated or took control of,
yeah, we take it.
Does now the government have to pay us for putting gas in our cars? Because I feel like giving it away for free wouldn't be enough. I feel like they should be paying us to use it at this point.
Well, that sounds amazing, but that truth is we're going to probably still pay a little more, even though that we have stolen. I mean, reappropriated that country's oil to our benefit. But I would be very surprised to see anything go down in that price. I looked at my stock this morning, and I still had some, and I wish I never sold it. But all of my oil sector stocks skyrocketed.
Okay.
And so, which was was the perspective over the weekend from traders, but my God, only thing I did is I wish I had put more money in, but
hindsight's 2010, right?
But
we wish we would have bought silver at 30 when Russ first told us, and now it's 75.
Yeah, we missed the boat on that one too. Okay, all right, well, smart man. But our thing is well, my thing. Let me back that up. My thing is when we make moves like this across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk to the people from these various countries, we call ourselves patriots because we're doing the right thing for the world. But there's a lot of people in these other countries that don't call us patriots. They call us the terrorists.
But you're focusing on speculation of what they're saying.
Is it speculation?
And what the highlights and the headlines are. I'm just trying to look at this from a numbers standpoint, right?
That's a big thing. But go ahead, go for the numbers.
So what does ChatGPT say about this, right?
Cousin Chat, he's back.
I asked him, right? So
it's our cousin.
Venezuela sits on the largest proven oil reserves in the world.
Yes.
Making any geopolitical move there automatically about long-term energy leverage. What do you think Russia and China wanted? The recipe for arepas? No. Oil controls inflation, military readiness, and global pricing power.
Absolutely.
Regime pressure can reset sanctions, debt, and ownership structures that benefit early position players.
Yeah.
And energy dominance historically outweighs ideology in foreign policy decisions. You mean money has a factor on foreign policy? No, I've never heard of such a thing.
It should.
That's ludicrous.
But, come on.
So there you go. There's your oil and energy.
Oil and energy. And again, if that land had none of that, would we have any interest in it?
We're the podcast twins. I'm Drew. That's Vince. Gold and silver aren't just history, they're security. That's why we partner with Miles Franklin.
And if you just call 952-929-7006 or email them at info@milesfranklin.com, tell them that the podcast twins sent you. You'll get preferred pricing and you'll get very well taken care of by them.
Real talk, real value, Miles Franklin. Well, the whole reason for this war, if you will, which isn't even really a war, it's like a weird covert operation, but the whole reasoning is what? Why are they saying they're doing it? To stop drug trafficking.
Yeah, oh my God. Okay.
Now
go ahead,
drug trafficking is less than 10% of where they're focused, and the other 90% comes from a different area.
This sounds familiar, didn't it? Go back a few years when he said, besides, this man who tried to kill my dad. We started a war.
I mean, I think that looks good for the headlines.
I said it. But look at the smoke and mirrors. What was the ultimate goal then? We was fighting with a oil rich country. We blew up their oil supplies. You know we didn't blow up no oil supplies.
You're not talking about a guy named Saddam Hussein.
We took their oil
that
supplies.
Looks eerily exactly like Maduro for some reason.
This is my point when I'm saying this is deja vu all over again. You got to have the cover. That guy tried to kill my dad. These people are bringing in the drugs. Ultimately, both situations, we took control of the oil. Ultimately, we took control of the oil in both of these situations. And the only people that lost is the poor mothers and fathers and the people that wind up having their kids go in the military, try to get something good for themselves, going there to fight a rich man's war. Those were the only losers.
Well, the funky thing is, oil is not just gas, right? Oil is in everything that we buy, everything that we use.
All of the drugs that we've been talking about, the petroleum-based oils. Remember, the Standard Oil, allegedly, that person who started that thing was also the same person who started the medical schools and started developing these drugs.
So we're definitely,
they are petroleum-based.
By getting people on Carnivore, we're getting more and more people to not take drugs or as much of drugs in their medicine cabinet.
Absolutely.
So we're actually helping the demand for oil go down. So good for us, right?
We are doing
we're
good.
Doing good
for the world, baby.
We're doing good for the world.
Podcast Twins Nobel Peace Prize 2026. This is what we're doing. But hey,
remember that time that 2026 just started and Vince nominated us for the Nobel Peace Prize? That was today.
That's it, baby.
That was today. So you're not, you're not under any delusion that this is philanthropic to help Venezuela. Obviously, now if we're doing something good for Venezuela, allegedly, while doing something good for the U.S., then where do we go?
Okay. So that, remember my statement about Chicago politics? I always love to say.
Here we go. Now we're talking.
It's the same thing. Hey, listen, man. We know you're going to take some. Just don't take it all. Give some to the people. That's just old school politics from when I grew up in the 80s in Chicago. That was the mentality. And that's exactly what's happening here. We wanted the oil. We took the oil. And they did. I think I heard this morning that Maduro lost 72% of the actual election that was allegedly stolen. But if that was the case, then yes, removing him from office should prove to be good for the Venezuelan people. My personal Venezuelan friends did everything they could in the last 4.5, 5 years to get their family out. And some were very successful, some were not. And so, shout out to those who did and prayers for those who could not. And hopefully they're okay. But that's how bad the situation is. These are people who were very proud of their country land, always loved to go back, but it reached to a point where they couldn't even go back safely.
Well, then I saw something about that it's not really about oil, it's about silver. Because supposedly, and ChatGPT did not verify this, but supposedly there's $1 trillion in silver, which has become increasingly more valuable, as we've talked about over the last 9 months, 8 months or so. And before that, it was still going up before that. I tried looking that up, and ChatGPT said, well, what about gold and other strategic minerals? Because silver is too narrow. So I said, well, give me the breakdown of their reserves.
Okay.
And again, ChatGPT today, resource category, oil, 24 trillion in US dollars.
Okay.
Gold reserves, 7 billion. Strategic minerals, 2 trillion. And silver is not independently qualified. Now, I've seen, $1 trillion on another resource. I have to go back and look that up.
Mm-hmm.
But they must have, if they have gold and other strategic minerals, they must have some silver.
Well, I'm looking here on the India Times. This is what popped up first. It says Venezuela's silver reserves are a significant part of its natural resources. with the country holding substantial amounts of the precious metal. The exact scale of the reserve is often unclear due to the blurring of reserves and resources, but they are a critical factor in the country's economic strategy. That's huge. But wait, there's more. The recent geopolitical tensions, particularly with the capture of the Venezuelan leader, Maduro, have added to the uncertainty around Venezuela's silver reserves and their potential impact on the global silver market. So that statement right there says that, hey, now that he's gone, we might actually find out what the real reserves look like, because I mean, when you have someone that is moving as a dictator, usually you take the lion's share and leave what's left.
So 20 years from now, we'll know the answer. Is the short version.
Our 20-year anniversary of Podcast Twins, we'll revisit this subject because usually if it's Maduro, it's my cigar. That's the only thing I like as a Maduro. So, but this is a different situation that we got going on here, man. This is real big, and you know I don't do politics. And I've been trying to run from this, but
I'm not talking about politics.
But
I'm talking about money. This is financial health.
But it is financial, which is why I'm interested.
Okay.
But it was so hot this past weekend after going through all of this stuff. I mean, to the point I had to pay attention. Okay. And so go ahead. Let's see what else Cousin Chad has to say.
So I asked about gold, silver, and strategic minerals, and this is what Chad came up with.
Okay.
So Venezuela represents hard physical wealth outside the dollar system, as our dollar has been basically worthless, which becomes more attractive as trust in the fiat system erodes. We've talked about that a couple times. Gold benefits immediately from fear, instability, and sanction precedent. Okay.
What fear is what drives all of us to do anything?
Silver lags at first, but historically overreacts once momentum builds. Silver demand has increased sharply due to all of the stuff that it goes in, which I won't read the list, but your cell phone battery, Tesla batteries, electric cars, hybrid cars, etc. Strategic minerals, gold, coltan, rare earth minerals, matter more for future supply chains than short-term prices. So that may not have been a short-term goal, but it could be a benefit of a long-term goal for financially with what they're trying to do, it seems.
Listen, you know, if it's out there and it's valuable, somebody wants it. In this case, we're being led at this point by an individual who's come from a power play, power takeover from the business world, and it's something that if this happened in the business world, it would call this a hostile takeover.
Okay.
And so, and if you're looking at it as something that would have occurred in the business world, usually nobody gets captured, but usually the business still gets swallowed up by the conglomerate that's taking it over, usually sold for parts, taking the profits and run, leaving the ruins behind. That could be what this scenario looks like, because depending on what happens in the future to Venezuela, we could have taken all of their profits, sold it for parts, and left the ruins behind. So time would only tell the real benefit here, but this literally seems like some Gordon Gekko stuff from Wall Street when he says greed is good.
Again, just to recap real quick, you got oil, which they have 303 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, which means we know about
them. Which means there's more.
If you value it at $80 a barrel roughly, that's 24 trillion in oil. So that's wealth.
Big time.
Right? That's more. That's 2/3 of our national debt right there in oil. And then gold, just gold.
Well, that's
central bank reserves about 161 tons from trading economics. That equates to 6.95 billion US dollars of gold reserves as of November. So that's just two, right?
You mentioned the debt, our deficit. So I just want to put a pin right there. Would that stop us from kicking the can down the road from our previous episodes?
That's what the government does, is kick the can.
Yeah, but would they actually, since now we have taken possession or usage of it or value of it, would we be smart enough to use that to wipe our debt, or just make the pockets that's already hugely fatter?
I'll plead the fifth on
Okay,
this one,
there it is.
I don't want to be involved in that conversation. I want to get into the I want to get into the theories, and I won't call it a conspiracy.
No, we're not conspiracy, man.
But I've had on the On Par.
Let's give them something to think about.
Well, on the On Par podcast and on this show, we had on the On Par podcast. I had Steve Stern, who is a famous YouTuber. He's 84 or 85 years young, and he's on YouTube every single day getting 7 or 8 million views talking about election security.
Okay.
So I saw, again, you see something on social media, you take it with a grain of salt, you do a little reading. What about the election control aspect of this? And the philosophy that I saw online that sparked my interest was they captured Maduro because he's going to cut a deal to show all of the fraudulent Venezuelan machines that we have running some of our elections in certain places. Oh, it gets better. You ain't there yet, Vince. You ain't even there yet. But we know that there's election fraud, right? Debbie Farris came on our show.
Absolutely.
And she said, even though she is a part of the Republican Party, spoiler alert, Republicans also cheat. Those were her words.
Yeah.
Right? So now she obviously thinks that Democrats cheat more than Republicans. Otherwise, she wouldn't be on the Republican side talking about this. But whatever.
Say 6-7.
So 6-7's not a thing anymore now. My daughter hates it. We played it out and it's gone. Thank God. That was so annoying.
But that's what that feels like. That statement. But go ahead, keep going.
So I said, let me ask my cousin. Let me ask cousin Chat, as you call him. So it says, whether true or not, public suspicion around election infrastructure is financially powerful because legitimacy drives markets, which we have none. Control of voting systems equals recurring contracts, legal protection, and political leverage. Big surprise. Even perceived manipulation can move capital, donors, and regulation. Loss of trust fuels hard asset buying and system hedging.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's happening. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's say we have proof that some of these machines were purchased from software companies and hardware companies in Venezuela.
See, this is what I'm cooking on.
I'm just saying it's not impossible.
There's always information, and if we were really concerned that was his ultimate goal,
I don't think it was the ultimate goal.
But let's play it out here. If that was the ultimate goal, will he meet the same fate as a Jeffrey Epstein? Because nobody held more information than that man right there. Although we do believe that he's out there at a barbecue with Tupac, Biggie, and Elvis, but people that hold that kind of power, that kind of threat, usually has the strangest accidental deaths. And the fact that we brought him over and he's on camera, let's see how long he survives in that solitary confinement cage before another guard falls asleep and the camera takes a 2-minute reset break before he meets an untimely, the weirdest death. Because if that's the case, if we were really afraid of him, we usually just kill him. So that's my whole thought process. Yeah, we probably got some of those machines.
So if he
those are winks on Spotify.
So if he shows up with 2 shotgun blasts
to the back of the head,
then probably it was just a legit suicide.
A legit suicide. That's all I'm saying. Is depending on what it is, this is what we got to look forward to. Or is he playing the long game like Jesseline? She's alive and well. What's keeping her alive and well? She's playing the long game here. So again, we got to look at this thing as a when you're gangsters, man, and alleged. This is what happened before they captured him supposedly. We just wiped out everybody that was in the way to go get him. And whether they were innocent or involved, uniformed people or not, that's the word on the street out there. So we will attach that to an alleged thing. But when you're gangsters, you got to go and accomplish the goal. You got to go get what you come to get. And so they went out there mercenary style, went and got him, brought him back. The question is, how much is chat going to be right? How much is this happening? I mean, think about it.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Is he going to breathe more than 2 weeks? Is he going to have the Epstein where he's going to hang himself from a doorknob 24 inches off the floor? We don't know, because he was an extremely big fella. You know, it'd be hard for him to choke himself out on the 2.5 foot doorknob. But my point is, at the end of the day, I just don't. We will never understand. I was watching some political dude last night, was like, saying President Trump owes the American people to listen. They all owe the American people. They just never pay. They never pay. They never tell you what's really happening. And really, that would kill the strategy, because that's why we elected them people, so they don't have to. They can keep us deliciously stupid out here in the field and just walk around here in this cloud of protection. As he said in the movie, you need me on that. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall because it helps you sleep better at night.
Well, I mean, we've gone, off topic a little bit.
So Did we?
Let's go.
Did we?
No, let's go a little further. So, you got the midterm elections coming up.
Okay.
In November, which is still 6, 8 months, 9 months away, whatever. Something big has to happen, or else Trump's appointees are not going to get elected at this point, allegedly. So at least that's what.
But wait, I thought he was going to still be the president forever.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
That seems.
Keep going.
I mean, look, anything's possible, and nothing would surprise me anymore, right?
Hey, a little head never hurt nobody.
So, I mean, is that when World War III starts? Is that when Trump? Hold on. Is that when Trump gives us all our $2,000 replenishment checks?
Hand signed, by the way.
Is that when, all of a sudden now the Epstein files are a little less blacked out?
Oh no, we'll never get that.
Not even like one or two names as scapegoats, because we know how they recycle actors. They could just plug them in somewhere else.
No. Then that'll ruin the barbecue that he's at over there, man. They really, that's a protected island over there. They got all of the most pristine people over there. So, no, that would never happen. But, like you said, this is all a political move. This is why we hate lobbyists, because and because they play every side. Because they're paid to play every side. You can have a lobbyist on your side today because you might have a D or an R behind your name, but the moment you terminate that contract with that individual, they will jump right to the other side and go just as hard. Go just as hard.
Well, every big company's donated to both sides, so they're controlling everybody. We already talked about that. That was 55 episodes ago.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
That was 55 episodes ago. That's old news.
That's my whole point. So when you look at all of this, the way it's all designed, the way it all lays out, in my opinion, again, we went over there and we stole oil, reappropriated oil reserves, possible precious metals. Again, we don't mess with countries that don't have nothing that we want. Other countries talk smack about us too. But if we don't want nothing from them, we just shoo them away like a fly.
It seems like we've been bombing the crap out of everybody quietly, or at least less quietly than it should be, for I don't know, my whole lifetime, your whole lifetime, our whole lifetime.
But again, it's only places that we want something from. Again, man, did we really get
so
involved?
Did you see
Did we get involved with Ukraine like deeply?
Well, no, but did you? $100 billion every year.
But that's just a little change. Did we drop? Did we go and confiscate? Because there's nothing there
that we know of. No, but who knows what we covered?
Nothing of chat level value that we know is not there. So I'm just saying, look, we're gonna hit him here a couple dollars. Go ahead and do what you got to do. But when you personally get involved, it's because I'm coming because I got to bring something back. That's the business. plan. Again, we watched the hostile takeover just on the very political scene, and we're just not used to seeing it all play out like this in front of us, even though we still only got maybe 30% at best of the truth. So I don't know, man. We got a long way to go.
I don't get it.
It's the first day of the year, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the Twin Cave talking good.
Well, I think we learned something, right? Like maybe it's a good idea to look at a little gold.
Yes.
To hedge against my silver. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a good idea long term if they figure out they got a lot of silver there to get a little bit of silver. Do we look at oil stocks? Do we look at other stocks that are related to what's going on in the world and how they might be affected? I mean, I know people that when Obama was doing his big push to ban guns,
right,
they were buying gun stocks and making a killing just because that's what the news was showing them, right? Fear.
Yep.
Fear and greed drive the market.
I did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a part of that group.
Yeah, Warren Buffett. Yeah. Right? Fear and greed.
Yep. But that's what drives this country, and it always has, and it always will. Because if they can't keep us afraid, then they can't move markets. Period. That's just the way it is. There's no way they want it to change, because if we really started hearing real truth and understanding real truth, and they really pull the wool from over our eyes, it might make people rebel, and that they cannot have. Again, you want me on that wall. You need me on the wall because it helps you sleep good at night.
So the good news is you learn that you should definitely jump on the carnivore or carnivore keto challenge.
Absolutely.
So that you can make the world a better place.
Right.
By using less oil. The end.
Less petroleum products. I love it. Side note before we get ready to close out here, today is January 5th. Shout out to the Brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Today is our Founders Day, 115 years. So I just want to say yo to all the noobs out there. Keep doing what we're doing in the community. It's a beautiful thing. Everybody appreciates it.
Yeah, keep doing good things for the community. We need more people doing that. Indeed. So, Podcast Twins out till next week, and thanks for listening.